My name is Myron Bell, and I'm a cardiologist at Prisma Health. Well, I grew up in Aiken, South Carolina. I went to Aiken High School, and from there I went to college at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut, and I graduated there in 1983 with a chemical engineering degree, knowing that I wanted to go to medical school. And I ended up going to medical school at Columbia College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York City. I spent 4 years in New York, and then I spent 6 years in Atlanta doing my residency and fellowship at Emory University affiliated hospitals. From that point, I came back to South Carolina, and I've been in Columbia for approximately 27 years now. If I was going to do OB, I'd probably end up staying in New York City, and I really wanted to come back south, and cardiology just made a lot more sense. Having been a chemical engineering major, some of the processes that we dealt with were similar to cardiology, and so it made a lot more sense to me. Cardiology has changed so much. There's been such a explosion of knowledge in terms of what we know and what we can do for people in the last 20, 30, well, even 40 years. I do diagnostic heart catheterizations. I read ultrasounds of people's heart. I put probes down their throat to look at their heart and diagnose things. And we're just able to do a lot more things with less invasion of the body. And so it's made a huge difference over the years. I actually consider myself a bit more of a minimalist. I try to do as little as I can to you. I want my interaction to be a minor inconvenience to your life. I also want to influence your habits, because if I can influence your habits, I probably do more for you than anything else I do. If I can convince a smoker to stop smoking, I could probably make their lives, 10, 20 years longer just by convincing them to stop smoking if they are smoking. If you don't have good exercise habits, I can convince you to have better habits in terms of exercise. I do a lot for you. And so understanding how those things happen, without me having to do a whole lot of things to you, but convincing you to change your habits, it makes a huge difference. If you see somebody when they're really in dire straits and you help them through it, and they really appreciate it, and that's what keeps us coming back. I was a jogger for a number of years. I got convinced by one of my partners years ago. He convinced me to change my habits a little bit, and I started running half marathons once a year. That made me kind of stay in shape a little bit better. And then when I turned 50, I ran a full marathon, and that was a big deal for me. But also, I like to play golf, and so I have other interests outside of medicine that keep me busy and doing things with my family too.